We are here so that we can be treated fairly. That's all that we're wanting. Just like any other victim of an accident, we wanted to be treated fairly. We want to prevent this from ever happening again. Don't want anyone to ever have to lose a husband or have to tell a 5-year-old that her daddy's gone to heaven ever again. It's a horrible thing to have to go through.
Something went wrong, and we just want to know what it was. And we don't want the government to stop until they find out exactly what happened out there, because we really don't know what happened. And I know my children, along with the others, we need to know what happened to our fathers, our husbands.
I'm very proud to stand with the family members of those who were lost at the outset of the tragedy in the Gulf of Mexico. What everybody here is doing, they're asking for some fair treatment under the law. The way the law is now, they don't get fair treatment. And Senator Schumer and Senator Whitehouse and I are committed to getting them fair treatment. And we will get them fair treatment. A few federal laws, the Death in the High Seas Act, for example, speaks of the remedies available to families that they died in the high seas. You have an accident like the tragedy that British Petroleum had before on land, and you have one way of covering. Here you say they're in the high seas. They're not on the high seas. They're a relatively short distance from land. And I think that there has to be a better way to recover. If there is negligence, if there is a tragedy, it is the same to the families, whether it happened on land or happened in the high seas. The loss to the families, the loss to parents, to spouses, to brothers, to sisters, especially the loss to children, is the same, no matter where it occurred.
The law was enacted before anyone even imagined a deepwater oil drilling rig. Congress never even thought of oil drilling when the law was passed, and yet they're trying to apply it to this situation. It also shortens the statute of limitations from 3 years to 6 months, even though much of the harm caused by the spill will be long-term in nature. We won't even know all the damages in 6 months.
It's important for us to make sure that the dignity of these men is reflected in the adequacy of their treatment in the courts. And that means not overlooking the experience that they underwent as the well fell over and sank, and not overlooking the change in their families' lives as a consequence of this.
We cannot allow these companies to use these laws as a shield to gain millions in insurance payments while shirking their responsibility.
All these deals, all these limitations on liability, all these ways of taking the true cost of what they did and shifting it on somebody else instead of leaving it on the corporation changes corporate behavior. And it changes it for the worse. And it creates and encourages the risk of further accidents like this happening again.
We can't bring their loved ones back, but we can at least make sure that in this terrible tragedy is not compounded by the lack of our laws to be able to allow them to recover.
What these gentlemen are trying to do for us, I'd like to get everybody's backing on this, and so that our loved ones were not lost for nothing.
No one can ever understand the pain that the families have gone through, and we hope and pray that that will never happen again. So please stand beside us and behind us and go forth and help us pass this bill. Thank you.